10 years ago, in Johannesburg, South Africa, a group of people were searching for someone. Someone shouts at the others, asking where the person went, and says that he will eliminate it and calls it a monster. They are all holding weapons, and one of the people calls the group over, saying that he found the person they were looking for standing on top of a roof. The person has marks all over his body with dark powder coming out of his hands while holding two people from their head. Both people have their skin coming out of their body, and the group are shocked and scared when they see it. The group suddenly starts shooting at the person, but the bullets just go through him and do no damage. They keep shooting over and over, but then suddenly, the person disappears and appears behind the group, and everyone in the area is turned into skeletons. One person from the group sees everyone turned into skeletons and eliminated and notices his hand also turned into bones and screams and runs away from the person while a woman walks towards the monster person. The monster person laughs at her and runs towards her, but the woman uses some ability which squishes the monster person and stops it from moving. The woman says that he is very powerful. She asks if the monster person understands her and asks it in Chinese, English, French, Japanese, Russian, and German. The person just keeps smiling at the woman, and she says that he has two options. She will eliminate the person now, or he can become her supporter, an exorcist. In present day, in Frankfurt, Germany, a person wakes up from sleeping and stands up on the bed. He grabs a remote and stops the alarm from ringing and turns on a machine which starts to play something on the wall. While the video is playing, the person is doing some exercises for almost an hour and then stops. He takes out some weapons and puts them on a table and sets his clock to 0. He starts the timer and quickly disassembles the weapon and assembles it and writes down his time in a book. He laughs at the video that is playing and his phone rings, which he answers and calls himself Michael. Michael talks to the person on the phone, saying that today is his last day in Germany and that later he will go to see another movie. He stops for a bit and says that he received it and takes out a ticket in German and asks if there is not anyone else who could do it. He then puts on a shirt and jacket and says that if he hurries, he will get there. Before he leaves, he prays to a photo and says that he is leaving and calls the woman in the picture his master. The woman is the same one that stopped the monster person 10 years ago. Michael takes his keys and checks his tablet for the goal of the mission. The tablet shows the mission location, which is in Haybach, and the goal is to defeat an ogre and kobolds. The report says that at 4 in the morning, some students opened the door which released the ogre, and the students instantly became kobolds with 21 people eliminated, 2 people hurt, and 12 people missing. Michael sits on his bike and says that he hates ogres. He takes out his sunglasses and drinks some juice while seeing some footprints on the ground, which he counts as 13 kobolds, and wonders if the report was wrong. He thinks that the ogre is around 3 meters tall, and his sunglasses show a house which is very bright. The mark on top of the house shows that the ogre is there, and the 13 marks on the bottom of the house shows the 13 kobolds. Michael says that since all the monsters are in one place, it is better for him and gets ready to eliminate them with just a gun and a knife. He takes his gun out and checks the ammo in it, and then takes the knife out, which becomes bigger like a sword and then becomes smaller. He runs towards the house and notices one of the kobolds eating one of the people and gets angry at the monster, but stays calm and throws a rock into the room which the kobold goes towards. Michael quickly enters the room and eliminates the kobold with his knife and takes out his juice packet, which takes in the dark smoke from the kobold. He drinks from the packet again and notices the other kobolds coming towards him. They enter the room and Michael hides behind the door and then quickly eliminates all of them. He hides the bodies in the closet and counts all 13 kobolds eliminated. He tries using his sunglasses again, but it does not work and wonders if it is broken because it has been happening a lot lately, and thinks it is a mechanical failure. He wants to watch the Ethan Hunt's movie but gets ready to eliminate the ogre. He moves towards the top of the house and checks every room to make sure it is clear. Michael hates the ogres because they always eliminate very cruelly and thinks that the ogre has bad taste in decorations. He hears someone shouting behind a door with blood all over it, and the person behind it is screaming for their mother. Michael thinks that they are having fun and opens the door a little and notices the ogre and many women around him. He quickly enters the room and shoots at the ogre's eyes and uses his sword to quickly eliminate the ogre. He says that the mission is complete, but one of the women that the ogre was playing with tries to attack him. Michael blocks it, but it breaks his arm, and he thinks that it is a witch. He kicks the woman away and jumps outside through the window and runs away from the house. The woman comes out of the house while riding on top of the ogre's head and tries to look for Michael. Michael takes a smoke and thinks that the witch was using the ogre's essence to hide her, and thinks that if his master was here, she would beat him up and use some dark magic to heal his broken arm. It hurts a lot, but he fixes it and thinks that attacking a witch without a surprise attack would not result in a win, but he only has one chance. One of the rings on his fingers releases some black aura, and Michael takes out a very big gun from his jacket. He uses the weapon and aims at the witch, but it notices him and turns into a weird monster and quickly attacks him directly. Michael eliminates the witch while saying a cool line like "Hasta la vista, baby." The attack was very strong and it pushed him back and broke the wall. He then takes out his juice pack, which takes in some of the black smoke from the witch and ogre. He says that it is a bother and calls the person back who gave him the mission. He says that the work is done, and the person says that he did a good job and asks if he still has some time to board. Michael says that even if he watched the movie, he would have time, and the person says that he received a contact by Ling from Japan and his new name will be Akira Kurosawa, and says that he will be working alone now. Michael becomes happy and says that he is impressed, and the person on the phone asks if Michael wants him to say goodbye to Michael and introduce Akira Kurosawa, the exorcist. Michael says that he is not an exorcist now, but should be called an omuji, which is an exorcist in Japanese. Michael wonders why people laugh when they are in danger. Michael and someone else are flying an airplane and laughing a lot while the airplane is flying towards the city. 11 hours ago, a woman welcomed the passengers on the airplane, which is a flight from Frankfurt to Tokyo. Michael wonders where his seat is, and someone calls him over by his Japanese name, Akira Kurosawa. He calls Akira over to him and thanks him for coming and excited at seeing Akira. He says that working with the great black shooter is a great honor and calls himself Muchin from the auxiliary department. Muchin tells Akira to sit wherever he wants because the organization booked all the first-class seats, and Akira is surprised. He says that they usually send him the tickets, and Muchin says that he will pass along the information he might need and puts on a glove. Akira notices that it is a transmitter glove and says that he hates those things but shakes Muchin's hand, which shocks him. His brain gets filled with information about his mission with some other weird things that Muchin is thinking of. Akira says that Muchin is weird and asks what he just saw, and Muchin says that that is not what he was thinking and tells him to forget it. Akira says that everyone has a dark side and who does not have a weird thought every now and then, and puts his bag up in the storage. The flight attendant comes over to Akira and asks if he wants a glass of wine, and Akira asks if she wants to join him because there are not many people around today. She says that she is sorry, but during working hours, she cannot do anything, and Akira says that it is fine and asks for a glass of pineapple juice, and she tells him to enjoy his 11-hour-long flight. At night, Muchin is sleeping and Akira is watching a movie while eating. The flight attendant says that they will be landing shortly, and if he wants to use the bathroom, he should go now. Akira thanks her, and she says that she will be having a drink later at the airport and asks if Akira wants to join her, and blushes. Akira becomes happy, saying that that is the best offer he had in a long time, but suddenly notices something outside of the airplane. The pilots flying the plane notices something in the sky and wonders what it is, and as they fly closer to it, notice that it is a body with some black smoke around it. The plane hits the person and the whole airplane shakes. All the passengers shout in fear, and the flight attendant falls on top of Akira, and he says that he will have to start his mission early. Something is starting to attack Akira, and he moves the flight attendant out of the way to save her, and a monster punches Akira. Akira uses his gun to shoot the monster, and Akira says that it is being rude. The flight attendant screams, and Akira tells her to look him in the eyes and tells her to focus on her job and to help him with one thing. He asks if she can calm the rest of the passengers down, and she tries to speak but cannot say anything, and Akira says please. She says that she understands and goes to where the rest of the passengers are and tells her not to mind him because he has work to do too. The monster gets up from the floor and gets ready to attack Akira again, and he notices that the monster took over the captain of the airplane and hopes that there is someone else who can fly the airplane. The monster attacks Akira, but he just shoots at its arm and another gun comes out. He says a line from a movie, "Say hello to my little friend," and eliminates the monster and takes out his item, which absorbs the black clouds coming out of the monster. The airplane suddenly starts shaking, and Akira says that he has a bad feeling about this, and over the speakers, he hears the other pilot saying that there is turbulence and they will not go off course, but asks the passengers to wear their seatbelts. Mujin comes to Akira and says that they have a problem, and Akira asks if the other pilot passed away as well. In the room where the pilots are, Akira sees that the other pilot has been eliminated and half the control panel of the airplane is destroyed. Mujin asks what they are going to do now, and Akira asks if Mujin knows the route and to send it to his head. Akira says that his ability is the materialization type, recreate, which can recreate any structure he fully understands. With the ability, he can recreate the controls and asks Mujin to tell him what he needs to fix. Mujin says that he will try, but the bigger problem is that they do not know how to fly an airplane, and Mujin says that he is 11th in the world ranking of flying simulators. Akira says that he is counting on him, and they both start laughing and trying to fly the airplane. On the ground, some people wonder what the sound is and notices the airplane coming towards them and hitting the top of some buildings. The airplane lands on the water, and some ships arrive to save the passengers from falling into the water. Akira swims away from the airplane and goes on top of a platform and breathes very hard. He notices a woman coming towards him, and she asks if he is Akira Kurosawa, and he asks who she is. She says her name is Chikage Awashima from the Onmyuji organization, and that she is here to pick him up, and holds out her hand. Akira says that she came just in time and that he lost his wallet and identification during the landing, and grabs her hand. A woman is battling against a monster at night in an alley. She says that she does not care what form it takes and prepares to attack the monster and runs straight at it. Suddenly, she gets eliminated very fast and does not do anything else. Chikage shows Akira the video of the woman being eliminated, and Akira says that watching a little girl being attacked like that creeps him out. Chikage says that the woman might look cute, but she was the strongest Onmyuji in the organization. The video was taken 3 months ago, and in that time, 15 other Onmyuji were eliminated and 3 have gone missing, which means that something big is happening. Akira talks about the current edition of New and reads from a magazine, and Chikage says that what is in it is true. Because of the magazine, it puts the organization in a bad spot, but other than that, they have nothing else to go on as proof of the monster. The monster left a sphere-shaped void, which is the only evidence they have. And since all demons have gone crazy, a lot of normal people have seen them. The organization had to ask Akira to investigate the monster because of the black pillar and the cause of the recent weird events. In the magazine, it talks about the mysterious black pillar in the sky above Kobe. Chikage and Akira arrive at their headquarters, which looks like a normal shop from the outside. Chikage opens the gate to enter the store, and Akira follows her, and Chikage calls for the manager. No one answers, and Chikage says that she is sorry because the manager likes to be lazy and does not work. She says that she will find him and tells Akira to rest for a while and goes through a curtain to another room. Akira agrees and enters another curtain, which leads him to a bathing area. He notices that it is an onsen and has a constant high temperature, and he always wanted to do this once he got to Japan, but did not expect it to happen so soon. He enters the bathing area, but remembers that it is tradition to wash your back before going into the bath. Suddenly, something comes out of the water in the bath, and the monster tries to attack Akira, but he easily dodges it and attacks the monster back with his towel. He throws the monster over his shoulder and tries to eliminate it, but the monster says that it surrenders. He says that attacking people is a sin and asks if he minds if he calls him Akira. Akira says that he does not want a fishman monster to say his name and tries to eliminate him again, but it says that he is not a fishman and takes off his mask. Chikage enters the men's bathroom and says that she finally found him and sees Akira on top of the manager, and Akira asks what she is doing here. The manager puts some clothes on and is disappointed that Akira fell for a joke like this, and Akira says that he knew from the start. Chikage tells the manager to not make a fool of himself anymore, and the manager says that he is sad. The manager introduces himself as the Eastwood of Ko, Kodojiro Higashimori. Kodojiro says that Akira is pretty strong because he survived a plane crash, and Akira asks if his name is Clint. Kodojiro says that he is Ram, but he gets that a lot about people saying that he looks like Clint Eastwood when he is calm. Chikage asks when he is ever calm, and Kodojiro locks in and becomes sad. Chikage says that is enough introductions and takes Akira to his apartment, and Akira says that he was starting to get goosebumps. Kotojiro tells Chikage to stop and says that he needs her help with one thing and because he has been busy. He could not do it himself and asks her to send a letter for him. Kotojiro tells Akira to teach him some of his moves from earlier when he was attacking Akira and says that he was amazing. Kotojiro then leaves and Akira asks if the manager is always like that. Chikage tells Akira not to mind him and that he will get used to it and opens the letter that Kotojiro gave her. The letter includes a picture of Kotojiro and his signature, but Chikage throws it away and reads the demon extermination mission. The mission's location is the abandoned amusement park in Azumi-ku, and there is a picture of a clown which is their target. Akira is enjoying Japan and likes the narrow streets, the wooden houses, and even the canned coffee. He asks where the ninjas and the samurais are like a true weeb, and Chikage asks where Akira is going and tells him to follow her. Akira asks if the shop is close by and Chikage says that they are almost at the location. Akira says that after he helps her with the job, they should go for a walk around the city, and Chikage says that she would go around even if he did not join the mission. Akira says that his grandmother used to say, "Give and you shall receive," and does not want to do nothing for something. He asks if clowns appear in Japan too, and Chikage says that this is the first time. Since the Black Pillar incident, strange things have been happening recently, so they cannot use old reports to help them with the mission. Akira says that this is a good opportunity, and Chikage says that they will do things his way, and Akira gets happy. They arrive at a store, and Akira notices that it looks run down and old. He says that they have places like this in Germany as well, and it is lucky to stay open because no one ever goes in to buy anything, but Chikage says that she is going in. Akira follows her inside, and an old woman says that they are about to close the store. Akira bows to the old woman, and Chikage asks if the red and green striped dress that she ordered is ready. The old woman asks if it is an 86 Mengvi, and Chikage says that she switched to FVJ. The old man says that it has arrived and tells her to follow her and opens a secret door behind some of the clothes. Chikage tells Akira to follow her, and they enter a big room. The room is the warehouse with swords, weapons, and other normal objects. Chikage removes her shirt and tells Akira that if he asks, they can get him anything he needs. Akira asks if he can get pirated DVDs, and the old woman says that they can get anything. She asks if Akira uses mostly guns and gives him one and tells him to try it. Akira tries out the gun and says that it is perfect and fits very well, and the old woman says that it was custom built for him so it should perfectly fit him. She says that since the streets in Japan are narrower, they widened the barrel and gave him a smaller weapon, as well since Akira is used to a smaller weapon. He tries to shoot and says that it has a good sound, and the old woman says that it is more durable and the grip of the weapon allows for more bullets. Akira says that he takes back his complaints and says that the shop is awesome and takes out his stopwatch, and some black clouds surround his gun. He takes an instrument container for storage and asks if he can take it, and the old woman asks why everyone wants to use that as storage. Chikage enters the room and says that they should go now, but Akira tells her to wait for a bit and asks the old woman if she can help search for someone. The old woman says that as long as they are not part of the organization, and Akira shows her a picture of the woman in Johannesburg, South Africa. The old woman says that she will give it a try and takes the picture from him, and Akira thanks her and says to send the weapons to his house. Chikage asks if Akira is going without weapons, and Akira takes out his weapon from his ring and says that he has a weapon. Chikage thinks that the rings he has are unusual and wonders if the rings act as a holster and the weapon looks real. She says that the main body must be elsewhere, and Akira asks if she is having fun, and Chikage quickly apologizes and gets embarrassed. Chikage says that she has liked relic manufacturing since she was a child, but now everyone builds their own relics without showing the public. She says that they should go now, and they enter another room. Chikage checks her phone, and Akira sees their vehicle for the mission and is very happy. He gets on the main bike, and Chikage says that they might not get to use their weapons today because a separate branch sent a specialized group, and they are a pretty good team as well. Chikage says that by the time they get there, they might not have anything to do. One of the people on the specialized team is attacking the clown but is eliminated, and the other group members are also eliminated while the clown laughs. Akira and Chikage are going to the ancient Azumi village, which was built in the Edo period. There are paper talismans all around the village, which looks like it is to protect them from something. Akira and Chikage are riding on the motorcycle and go through the entrance to enter the Azumi village, which has a barrier around it. Akira notices the barrier and asks if it is a barrier against intruders and says that it looks like soap bubbles and that it is his first time seeing something like this. Chikage says that the barrier was made as a result of years of study in the yin-yang arts. Chikage goes to talk to someone on her phone and Akira asks where they are and what kind of place this is. Chikage explains that Azumi Village used to be a town and was a popular filming location, but it was closed after a few years after its opening because of poor maintenance. Akira sees the map and becomes happy, excited about samurais and ninjas, and gets ready to go. Chikage tells him to wait because she cannot contact the other team that should have arrived before they did and wonders if something happened to them. She activates an item on her wrist, enhanced equipment too, which summons an item in front of her. Akira is surprised at her power and Chikage equips the item and changes her pants into white glowing parts. She puts the antenna from the item on her head, which allows her to get signals of life around them. Akira thinks that she looks cute and Chikage says that she is not getting any signal from the area they were supposed to meet. She says that it is possible that the other team has been eliminated, so they should be careful. Akira asks Chikage that she said that exorcists make their own relics and asks if she made that relic herself. Chikage says that she made it herself and Akira becomes excited and says that she is awesome. He says that the quality of her relic is way better than the ones they can buy from stores and Chikage says that it is not that good because the power output is not very strong and could be made better. She is happy though and thanks Akira for the compliment. Akira says that they should go and get his weapon ready because he wants to find samurais and Chikage tells him to be careful. They both walk around the village and Akira says that it feels like a movie and that he could die from excitement. Akira asks if he will get a Japanese-style living room because he wants to try a tatami floor that is popular in Japanese houses. Chikage says that the manager said that Akira might not be able to rest well and suddenly says that she detected some movement behind the corner. Akira gets ready and puts up his weapon and Chikage says that she cannot sense any ability users and Akira does not either. Akira walks around the corner and notices some balloons floating around the area. Akira asks Chikage how many people there were in the other team and Chikage says that they had 7 people, including the mage. Akira says that they are all eliminated and Chikage is surprised at this and sees the balloons. The balloons all have faces of the other team members and just floating around the area and Chikage says that they all had a B-grade power level. Akira says that what makes him worried is that he cannot sense any magic disturbance in the air and says that they should attack first and shoots at the balloons. When he does, some stuff comes out and Akira gets grossed out and Chikage says that there is an enemy around. The Joker that eliminated the team is running around and comes towards Akira and Chikage. Akira says that he looks weird and shoots at him. It hits the Joker in the head and then it flies back from the power and Akira asks if Chikage is alright. She notices the balloon heads of the other team which hits each other and explodes and a Joker comes out from the explosion. The Joker hits Chikage with its hammer, but she jumps into the air and dodges it and hits the Joker back in the face which eliminates it. She says that she is fine because it is her job and she has done this stuff before. Humans that are possessed by wicked spirits usually get powers from multiple categories. The relics are objects which are used to control the energy that the spirits possess. Chikage eliminates the Joker that popped out of the balloon explosion and jumps in the air after hitting the Joker and it explodes. She lands on the ground and charges up another attack and moves fast and attacks the Joker again. When she hits it, there is an explosion from its back and she eliminates it easily and lands back on the ground. Chikage thinks that it is strange though because the Joker does not seem to defend himself from her attacks and that it is impossible that the Joker eliminated the other team because they were strong as well. The Joker that she eliminated starts to move and something starts the move from its under area. The Joker's head turns into a balloon and starts to move from its pants and laughs at her. It starts to move again upside down and starts to laugh while its head area is all melted and Chikage thinks that it looks disgusting. Suddenly, Chikage cannot see anything and everything goes dark and panics. The Joker moves the balloon of the other team members and sends it towards Chikage, but she cannot see it coming and does not move. Akari eliminates the other Joker he was fighting with his gun in front of a building and figures out that the Joker had a spread power type. He says that if only you knew what it could do, Then it could infect its enemies and make them lose their sight. He destroys the heart of the Joker and notices the balloon coming out of its mouth and thinks that it looks scared and wonders how Chickage is doing. Chickage dodges the clown heads and thinks that the Joker has some changes to go and kicks the balloon heads, which all explode immediately. She quickly kicks the Joker again and destroys its heart in one kick, and blood goes everywhere. Cheke thinks that these enemies are not even useful enough to be used for training. Akira enters the room where he eliminated the Joker, and using his sunglasses, he finds traces of a recently opened door. Chickage meets up with Akira and says that what just happened right now must be because of this. The couple that found the fog just had bad luck and turned them into monsters. Akira says that it is a strange event and tells Chickage that her relics look really strong. Chickage asks what he means, and Akira uses his ability to see Chickage's abilities. She has an ear radar which has a range of 20 meters. She can see souls up to 5 meters away, movement up to 15 meters away, and people's health up to 20 meters away. Her legs have a motor system which can be used to jump super high and allow her to fly for a while by absorbing the air. Akira says that depending on the situation, the equipment adapts to the fighting style. When Chickage lost her sight when battling the Joker, she can dodge enemy attacks and track where they are, so she can automatically kick enemies back and win. Akira says that she is amazing, and Chickage says that he is good as well because he understood everything in the little amount of time he saw her. Akira asks if they should go back now, and Chickage says that she has something to ask him. She says that she just realized that he keeps drinking from the juice box and asks how many he has. Akira shows the juice box to her and says that it is not juice and shows her that it is a relic. Chickage gets excited, and Akira says that because of his ability, he has to keep drinking this every day or else he will not live anymore. Chickage asks if it is a relic as well and wonders how it was made. Chickage's phone keeps ringing, but she does not pick it up and just wonders about the relic. She says that it looks very complex and wonders how it works and if it is real. Akira asks if she is going to pick up the call, and she says that she is sorry for being rude and picks up the phone. It is Kotojiro calling, and he asks if they have finished already. He says that the house is unavailable right now, but they can use his hotel for now, and says that he is sorry to bother them. Behind Kotojiro, there is a group of fire trucks and firemen, and the house is all burned down from something, but he does not know how it happened. Chickage says that something must have happened to Akira's house, and Akira asks what happened. She says that Kotojiro did not say anything to her yet, and he talks a lot, and that she does not listen to him, even if he is her boss. Chickage says that she heard fire truck sirens in the background of the call and thinks that his house has exploded. Akira says that she is smart because she figured out what happened, but then shouts, asking if it really exploded. Chickage says that it has been reduced to ashes, and Akira says that he is glad that they did not come earlier. Chickage asks what they should do now, and if they go look for a hotel and the enemies attack again, he would be in danger, and asks if he wants to stay at her house for the night instead. Akira is wearing a kimono and sitting on the floor at Chickage's house. He is waiting for Chickage to finish taking a bath and says that none of this has anything to do with her, and Chickage enters the room. She asks if her grandfather's kimono fits Akira well and that he does not have to be so stiff, and Akira tells her not to mind him. He says he cannot relax because he is sleeping in Chickage's house, and Chickage says that it does not matter because it was empty anyways and not to worry. Akira asks what the manager, Kotojiro, is like, and Chickage says that it is hard to say. She has been working with him for 10 years and says that he is a charmer and talks a lot, but does not show everything easily, and his abilities as an onryuji are unique. Chickage gets a futon from the closet for Akira to sleep in, and Akira gets excited at seeing one because it is his first time. She takes into another room, and Akira tells her that he will help her and takes the futon to the room and gets very excited at sleeping on a tatami floor. It is his dream to sleep on a tatami floor like the Japanese people do, and Akira thanks Chickage for letting him sleep there. She says that she will go make some tea and asks if Akira wants to talk a little in the hallway. The wind is blowing slightly, and while drinking some tea in the backyard of the house, Akira says that he wants to live in this kind of house. Chickage asks if Akira wants to stay on the first floor of the house and says that it is a little small though, and Akira asks if that is not too much. Chickage says that the house was made to fit 2 families, so he does not have to feel weird about it. Chickage says that 3 months ago, she was planning on bringing her grandparents to the house, but they passed away from natural causes. She says that the house is too big for one person anyways, and Akira says that as long as it is fine with Shikage, then it is fine, and says that it would be a dream come true for him. Shikage changes the subject and asks about the person that Akira gave a picture of to the old woman at the store and says that she might know her. Akira says that the person he asked about was his master, but she disappeared 6 years ago, and no matter how much he searched for her, he did not find any clues on where to find her. He says that 3 months ago, she was recorded by a security camera in this city, and the picture that he had of her was from the camera. Shikage wondered about 3 months ago, and Akira says that she disappeared on the second day after the pillar appeared, and Shikage gets surprised. He says that he has a feeling that she might be somewhere near the incident and that she loved Japan, and they talked a lot in Japanese. Shikage says that Akira does not have a foreign accent, and Akira says that his mother was Japanese, and he has no problems with that kind of thing. Akira then asks who gave him the passport and the flight ticket, and Shikage says that it is being investigated, and as for the attacker, that is the manager's business, but the flight ticket and passport itself was taken by the Onyuji organization. Akira wonders if someone does not want him there and if the manager is lying to them, and Shikage says that he might be lying, but she could also be the one lying to him. Akira says that he trusts her though, and Chika asks why. He says that he wants to trust her, and the person he was before used to consider everything around him as an enemy. He would fear or scare the enemy or be suspicious of his partners and lying to the people he trusted when he was in a war. It was a very boring life for him and was very bad, and calls himself an idiot. Akira thought he lived in the world of Yasujiro Ozu, but then he realized that he was already bound by Mel Gibson's chains. He says that he is going to sleep now and says that from now on he will live in the house, and thanks her for allowing him. Shikage says good night, and after he leaves, she wonders why he would trust in someone like her. The universe is like a river that flows without being broken. It does not matter if you are alive or not, happy or sad, everyone will have the same ending. Akira is on a battlefield with everything on fire and things destroyed around him, and says to someone to come and entertain him. A bunch of monsters come out, and Akira shoots at them with his fun and eliminates a lot of them instantly. A monster attacks him from behind, but he shoots at it with a small gun and eliminates it. Akira cannot keep up to attack them all though, and gets attacked by a lot of them, and he still keeps shooting until his body gets split. Another monster comes out with a smoky body, and when Akira sees this, he wakes up quickly with his pillow and blanket around him and says that he had a nightmare. He opens up his relic item, and a smoky skull pops up under the glass. Akira tells it to not be cocky and that he will give it back to the universe before all of this ends. He looks at the clock and notices that he overslept for 5 minutes and thinks it must be because of jet lag. He thinks to himself that he has not gotten used to this lifestyle yet and was going to ask Shikage to take him to the hardware store later, and starts to stretch his body. While stretching, Shikage enters his room, still sleepy, and Akira asks what she is doing here. Shikage forgets what she was doing and says that she is sorry and goes back to another room. Shikage serves breakfast for Akira and herself, and Akira says to install a door lock. Shikage says that the sliding doors do not have locks, but he does not have to worry because she will not enter Akira's room without his permission. Akira thinks that she must have been so sleepy that she does not remember what she did in the morning, and Shikage talks about last night. She says that she does not like to talk about her past, but she kept asking about his past. Akira says that it is fine, and he is glad that he had her attention, but says that if she does not mind, he does not want to talk about it anymore. Shikage agrees, and Akira changes the subject and asks if she always does her missions alone. Shikage says that she does and has been doing them alone for a few years now because having company is annoying. Akira also agrees with her and says that it is easier to move by yourself, and it is much less noticeable, and no one can get in their way. He would rather live alone and be eliminated alone, and Shikage agrees. Shikage and Akira look at each other while eating, and suddenly, Kotojiro enters the room, saying that living like that is very sad. Akira and Shikage are both standing up with Akira holding his chopsticks in front of his eyes and Shikage's leg on his neck. Kotojiro shouts at them, saying that they went for his vitals without waiting at all, and says that they both understand each other very well. Shikage asks Kotojiro if he had business in another district today, and he says that he did, but before he left, he wanted to tell them something. Akira asks if they found the person who exploded his house, and Kotojiro is surprised he already knew about it and says that he really loves people like Akira. Kotojiro says that they must have thought about going to the pillar to investigate its surroundings and tells them to be careful because they are still not sure what will happen. Akira asks what is going on, and Kotojiro says that they discovered something at the explosion site and shows something on his tablet. Shikage and Akira are both surprised, and Shikage asks how this could happen. There are two people investigating the area where the pillar was formed. The man is the Minister of Public Security, and the woman is from the Department of Defense. They show their ID to the guard that is protecting the area from the people and say that they were waiting for them and let them inside, telling them to be careful. They thank the guard, and the man says that there is something good about this job, which is that it feels like they are inside of a movie. They enter past the first barrier, and the minister says that it is very hot today. They get past the second and third barrier, and after passing the fourth barrier, the minister asks if he can take it off now and removes his disguise by unzipping the costume from the face. The minister is actually Akira, and he says that it is so hot and sweats a lot from being inside the costume for so long, and says that he can tell that it is summer. The woman is actually Shikage, and she unzips her costume and is also sweating a lot. She says that it is not because of the season, but because the suits the manager gave them use very low quality and cheap materials, and he could have made them more comfortable, but he did not. Akira takes a breath and says that even if they did not get ambushed, he wanted to show off, but it does not matter anymore, and says that they should treat it like a normal job now. They start walking again and get past the fifth barrier as well. In the same morning, Kotojiro shows a picture of himself with his signature on his tablet to Shikage, and Akira and Shikage says that this is a joke. She asks Kotojiro if he is still going to be working at the motel and says that it is time to quit. Akira asks who it is in the picture, and Kotojiro acts hurt and cries because of them. He then shows the actual picture of what they really found, and Shikage notices that it is a spell of explosion and asks if the pillar was caused by someone. Kotojiro says that they still do not understand the situation, but they are sure that they are looking at them very closely. He then explains about the pillars and says that they already sent Akira and Shikage the information, so they should check it out before they leave. The pillar has a danger level of C, and a lot of monsters come from the pillar, but they are not very strong. He explains that after they cross the last barrier, they still have another 120 meters until they get into contact with the target, but the monsters are all low-ranking creatures that are inside the barrier, so they are not much of a threat to Akira and Shikage. Kotojiro tells them that the enemy may still attack, though, so they should be careful. Inside the barrier, Akira is listening to something in his earbuds. He thinks to himself that the voices in the Japanese dub of Commando is not very bad and is amazed that the people can dub the voices without breaking up, and wants to thank the manager next time he sees him. Shikage takes out some talismans and asks if Akira wants any, and he says that he just wants one. They attach the talismans to the inside of their jacket and get their weapons ready to go in deeper. When they get past the last barrier, they notice a lot of monsters everywhere like dragons, ogres, chimeras, goblins, and lizardmen. Akira says that they look like low-ranking Japanese monsters, and Shikage is shocked at what she saw and is confused about it. Suddenly, Akira senses a monster trying to attack them from above and shoots at it, but the bullets go straight through and is not affected by it. The slime monster shoots some slimes at Akira, and he guards himself by using his gun, but he notices it melt into the gun, and the slime then attacks Shikage and goes on top of her. The slime then melts part of her jacket off, and Akira tries to save her. The slime melts through Shikage's clothes, and she tries to get rid of it. She wonders why she could not take in the impact and removes her jacket, but the slime lands on her undergarment as well, and she removes it before it hits her skin. Akira asks Shikage if she is fine and shoots at the slime, and Shikage says that she is fine while covering her body. She uses her ability and kicks at the slime and destroys its core. Akira says that they should retreat for now and regain their strength, and Shikage agrees. The both of them hide inside of a parking garage, and Akira gives Shikage his jacket to cover herself. Shikage says that the melting from the slime has stopped, and Akira brings out a bandage and gives it to Shikage. He tells her to use it to help heal herself and throws it at her while not looking at her, and Shikage says that she is sorry for being a burden to him. Shikage puts on the jacket and zips it up, and Akira tells her to forget it because right now they are here to watch each other's back and help each other. Akira says that the distance is not 100 meters like the report said and wonders what could have happened. There is still at least 5 kilometers until they reach the barrier, but there are still a lot of monsters. Akira says that he has never seen this level of spatial distortion before and says that it is almost as if they are in the movie Inception. Shikage tells Akira that she detects someone strong coming towards them and they both feel a pressure. Akira puts his weapon up and aims at the entrance while waiting for it to come out. The monster that comes out is a huge bull with an axe as its weapon, and Akira gets ready to attack, but Shikage tells him to stop. She wants to do some analysis and investigate the monster and asks if Akira can extend the battle a little so she has time. Akira says that is fine because either way, it will be easy for him to defeat the monster and takes out his knife that can turn into a sword. The monster shouts at Akira and Shikage and runs towards them with its weapon and tries to attack Akira, but he easily pushes the weapon away, and it hits the ground, which sends rocks everywhere. Akira thinks that if the axe hits him at all, he will not be able to do anything and gets ready to end the monster now. He gets ready to attack the monster and counts the number of slashes he does. He aims at the monster's wrists, and when the monster tries to get its axe back from the floor, Akira aims at its legs. The monster falls down on the ground and cannot move anymore, and Akira aims at its back and lands on the ground. Blood goes everywhere, and Shikage says that she has enough data and thanks Akira for his help, and Akira finally eliminates the monster by aiming at its head. A mysterious woman is in a room and talking to someone while making some food. She asks someone if they know where Fanta comes from and says that it is made by Coca-Cola, so it should be from America. Another mysterious person enters the room and says that he knew she would say that and says that it is actually made in Germany. The mysterious man says that during the way, they stopped importing feedstock, so they made their own drink with what they had, and that is how Fanta was made, and the mysterious woman says that it is interesting. The mysterious man is injecting a person with something in the background while the people have no clothes and screaming for help and asking the man and woman to let them go. The mysterious man says that it happened in Japan as well and says that it was something like Parapon, which is a drug used by Japanese soldiers during the war to improve their senses. The mysterious man injects something into the person's eye while he screams at him to stop. The mysterious woman says that it seems a little different to her and starts to eat, but a phone rings. She looks at it and says that the decoy in the parking lot has been eliminated and wonders if they have already arrived and is tired of waiting. She says that they should get to work now and looks at a file on the desk which has the nickname Black Shooter, and they both get dressed up. In the parking garage, Akira tries to use his relic to take in the black smoke from the monster, but it does not work and thinks that there is something wrong with the mission. Shikage tells Akira that she has the results of the analysis and Shikage uses her relic to show him. She shows a picture in front of Akira and he gets excited, calling her R2, and says that he has officially become a fan of her artifacts and she thanks him. She says that the monster they defeated, a minotaur, and the slime that attacked them earlier had some sort of a core. She says that she looked around the area and all the monsters around them have a core as well. The core acts like an engine, and if they break it, the monsters cannot move anymore. Akira says that even if they look like beasts at first, they are more like puppets which are created by alchemy. Akira tells Shikage that they should go back and Shikage asks why. Akira says that 80% of a mission's success depends on how prepared they are, and if they keep this up, they will be in danger, and that is why they need time to rethink it. He also tells her that he cannot drain any energy from the puppets to recover his stamina, and he does not have much left either, so he feels a little nervous. They go to the exit that is closest to them and try to leave, but when they exit the parking garage, they get confused. Shikage wonders what it is, and Akira says that it looks like they are lost and their surroundings are always changing. Akira says that it is his first time seeing something like this, and it creeps him out and notices that Shikage is a little happy and asks why she looks happy. Shikage says if she looks happy and says that she was thinking about figuring out how the artifact works and if she could improve her future projects with this knowledge, and Akira says that he likes this side of her. Akira asks if she can locate the exit, and Shikage says that she cannot. Suddenly, the mysterious man and woman are right behind them, and Akira and Shikage find out that they are being followed. The mysterious man is talking to the woman and says that he likes Pepsi better and that 7-Up goes better with Burger King, and the mysterious woman says that she cannot tell the difference between 7-Up and Sprite. Shikage says that they are people but that there should not be anyone behind the barrier, and Akira tells her to get behind him. The mysterious woman asks if Akira is the black shooter and says that he looks more attractive than she thought, and Akira thanks her and says that he gets it a lot. Chikage says something and Akira says that he knows and if she sees an opening, she should run. Akira says that the mysterious woman is too dangerous and an illusion of a monster comes up behind her. The mysterious woman says that she has nothing against him and there are eyeballs that pop up behind her and she takes one and kisses it. She says that she has to finish her mission and the eyeball moves towards Akira and she says goodbye. The eyeball explodes in front of Akira and a monster comes out of it which attacks Akira with its sword and Akira quickly defends against it. Akira stops the monster's attack and defends himself by moving the monster's sword to the side. He attacks the monster back, but he notices that he only ripped the monster's clothes and did no damage. He shoots at the monster's face in close range and the mysterious woman smiles and the monster easily dodges. Akira is surprised at that and asks if the monster is Neo from the Matrix, and the monster quickly attacks Akira by kicking at his stomach, but Akira blocks it. He thinks that this is going to be bad and that he should be serious because the monster is strong. The monster kicks Akira in the air and he lands on the ground and rolls out of its way. He turns his knife into a sword and gets ready again to attack the monster. The monster and Akira are fighting really fast now and Chikage notices that their powers have gone up to another level and if she stays here, she will just be a burden. She activates her artifact and tries to get out of there as fast as possible and tries to run away, but the mysterious man catches up to her and grabs her leg to stop her from escaping. He asks where she thinks that she is going and Chikage notices that he is really fast and the mysterious man throws her onto the ground. Chikage starts coughing and the mysterious man says that he does not like kidding women but people who leave their friends behind really makes him angry and he tries to punch Chikage. The attack makes a big explosion and a lot of rocks go up in the air and Akira notices that Chikage was attacked. He says that he cannot waste any more time here and gets ready to use all of his power and uses his ability, Dark Slasher, which turns his sword into a black sword. He attacks the monster with many cuts and it does damage now. The mysterious woman is happy and says that he is incredible and Akira notices that the floor changes again from before and it now shows a destroyed car and bus near a river. The mysterious woman says that there is a beautiful woman in front of him, so why does he bother going after other women and says that he is making her sad. Akira says that he is not like 007 from the James Bond movies and he cannot handle more than one woman at a time. The mysterious woman says that he gave that as an example, but he would be the companion in this case because if they started as rivals, he would end up teaming up with her and then will be eliminated. She explodes another of the eyes, and suddenly a woman with no face appears behind Akira and slashes at him. The monster that the mysterious woman summoned appears beside Akira and slashes at his body and his arm, which gets removed from his body. Akira starts coughing blood and notices his arm in the air. The monster starts to attack Akira again, but he uses his power and punches the monster in the face and kicks its leg. The mysterious woman is amazed and Akira grabs his arm, which was removed, and uses it to hit the monster in the face. The monster is thrown into the hole where the surroundings are changing and he falls into it as well. Akira grabs the monster's collar to protect himself from the fall damage and gets up when he lands on the ground. He shoots at the monster and eliminates it and grabs his removed arm and runs away from the monster. He notices the broken bridge, but there are no pieces of the bridge around him and that the surroundings around him changed again and wonders where Chikage is right now. He looks at the monster again and notices that it stopped moving, so he must have destroyed its core, but he still cannot relax right now. He hides behind the destroyed bus and tries to get his stamina back. He takes out his artifact and sees that he does not have much demon energy left and puts his removed arm back into its spot. He uses the dark energy to put his arm back in its spot and screams in pain and starts to move it to test it. He sees that he does not have a lot of dark energy left and only has 15 shots or 30 seconds of Dark Slasher left. He knows that it will not be enough to eliminate the mysterious woman and he knew that they had to go back to resupply and try to figure out how to get away. Suddenly, an explosion happens on the bridge and Akira wonders if it is Chikage and runs towards it hoping that Chikage can protect herself until he gets there. Akira thinks that right now it would be better to escape alone and that he hates having other people on a mission with him and he notices something happening and quickly gets down on the ground. The bus he was hiding behind is suddenly cut in half and the monster that he thought he eliminated is still alive. He asks if he woke her up and thinks that he needs to eliminate her before the mysterious woman comes to him, but she is already standing on the bus, and she asks if Akira is fine and thought that he would be hurt badly. She says that Akira is pretty strong, and Akira is surprised that she came there that fast, and the mysterious woman summons the other monster that he already eliminated before. Akira then says that this does not look like circus and gets angry. There is a description of a monster from a Japanese poem. It says that the monster has the head of a monkey, the tail of a snake, the legs of a tiger, the body of a raccoon, and cries like a bird. The monster is called a Nu, and people say that the monster is very, very bad. Akira breathes in deeply and takes out a cigarette from his pocket and asks the mysterious woman if he can have one. He puts one in his mouth, and the woman says that these days it is not cool to smoke, and Akira says that she has more monsters on her side than on his side, and his strategy was to eliminate the mysterious woman with the smoke. Akira thinks to himself that he will no longer be able to heal himself from another bad injury, and if he does not eliminate the woman fast enough, he will not be able to live. He knows that he only has 15 bullets left and can only use Dark Slasher for 30 seconds. He is less than 20 meters from the woman and tries to think of a way to eliminate her instead of attacking the monsters as well. He finds a way and tries to get some time and tells the mysterious woman that he knows about her story and heard about it a long time ago. In 1998, the mysterious woman eliminated the dictator of Canaboth Walwapol and his 52 guards. In 2007, she eliminated the United States Army Captain Theodore Munson and 30 members of his private army. In 2015, she eliminated the Somali gangster Mwai Konda and 89 of his pirate soldiers. She has a scar with 3 lines on her mouth and has only one working eye, and her name is Nu Tsuru. Akira thought that it was just a bunch of old stories, but he did not expect her to be here and asks Nu if she came all the way to Japan just to see him. Nu calls him a master exorcist and says that it is not every day someone has a chance to eliminate an S-class guy. Akira takes out his smoke from his mouth and says that he has a lot of work to do today, but he can spare an extra 10 seconds for her. He throws the cigarette at Nu's face and hits her eye, but it just bounces off, and Akira quickly runs at Nu. Akira uses his Dark Slasher ability to attack the first monster before it can do anything and uses 2 bullets and 3 seconds of Dark Slasher. Nu is amazed and snaps her finger, which heals the monster, but Akira keeps going and says that there is 8 meters left until he reaches Nu. The second monster is standing between them, and Akira notices that it will cut him from outside his range, so he quickly jumps back and dodges its attack. He takes his weapon out and shoots at the monster from a range, but it dodges it, and he changes to his sword to attack with Dark Slasher and cuts its legs off and then eliminates it. He has 11 bullets left and 23 seconds of Dark Slasher left and cuts the monster's core in half. He notices that one of the eyeballs around Nu is going to explode soon and to summon another monster, but he knows that she will not make it because there is only 4 meters left. He stops moving and turns around and aims at the first monster again and jumps at it, but instead of attacking it, he jumps off of the monster and aims at Nu instead. He activates Dark Slasher to eliminate her, but instead, she takes out her weapon and shoots at Akira. There is a big hole in his stomach now, and he lands in front of Nu. She says that she has a great 10 seconds of fun and thanks him and shares her secret to her victory. She takes the smoke that Akira threw at her, and she tells him not to fight on your opponent's terms and eliminates Akira. She turns around and walks towards the explosion on the bridge where the mysterious man and Chickage are battling and says that she should check on how the job is going. She jumps off of the bus and starts walking, but suddenly she feels a dark aura coming from Akira's body. She turns around and sees a monster on top of him, which is just looking at Nu. Nu looks at the dark monster that shows up above Akira's body and looks a bit scared. The monster summons a huge black pillar, and Nu says that she never heard of such a thing before. The monster shadow turns into Akira, and his body has markings all over it. Akira jumps at Nu to attack her, but one of the monsters that Nu summoned comes in front of her and tries to protect her. Akira touches the monster, and it turns into a skeleton, and Nu jumps away to get some distance. She then uses a lot of eyeballs and her ability to turn them into monsters, which is named Hyaki Yaku. The monsters surround Akira and then grab his body to try and eliminate him, and they cover him. Nu says that that was dangerous, and eliminating something like this was not part of a deal. Suddenly, Akira comes out of the pile with all the monsters turned into skeletons all around him. Nu turns around and sees this and becomes even more nervous and calls for someone to call a demon hunter, but no one can hear her. Back on the bridge, Shikage is battling the mysterious man and he punches the ground, which sends rocks everywhere. Shikage uses her super speed to dodge it and kicks at the man's head, and he punches her back. She dodges it and runs around his arm, which becomes super big. Shikage thinks to herself that she knows that the kick landed on him and wonders if he really is a human. She notices the dark pillar, which is where Akira was eliminated, and gets distracted, and the mysterious man tries to hit her, but she uses her speed to dodge it. The mysterious man figures out Shikage's abilities and knows that when he attacked her first, he was wondering how she was able to dodge his attack, but figures out that she has an automatic evasion ability. He says that it must be because of the spiritual suit of ears that she is wearing, so that is how she can figure out his attacks. He says that it is disgusting and says that it is like she is running away even before they fight and calls it a shameful ability. He suddenly becomes very bulky and gets a lot of muscles. Shikage tries to get some distance between the two of them and uses her speed to get away, but the mysterious man catches up easily and punches her in the stomach and asks if she does not trust her spiritual suit. He appears behind her and says that she did not train her abilities and punches her, but she quickly dodges it. He says that she left her partner behind and calls her garbage and hits her again, which she cannot dodge, and grabs her. Shikage thinks that his ability became stronger and she has no way to avoid it. The mysterious man puts her on the ground and gets ready to punch her and says that he still has work to do, so he will eliminate her quickly. When Shikage was 14 years old, she was fighting a monster at a graveyard. She was having a training practice to test the spiritual suit. The monster attacks Shikage with its weapon, and Shikage dodges its attacks and uses her suit to attack it and eliminates it. She becomes excited and shouts that she did it and runs towards her master and asks him how she did. Her master says that automatic evasion was a great idea and says that it is becoming better. He says that if someone has no combat experience, they react more slowly to attacks and thinks that Shikage overcame her weakness. He puts his hand on her shoulder, though, and uses his ability, shove, to push her back on the ground. She asks how his ability worked even though she was using her suit, and her master says that at point-blank range, her ability is not going to work. He says that she might meet enemies with powers that she might not be able to dodge with automatic evasion and asks what she would do if that happens. He explains that if she does not consider all possible events, she will not survive. Back on the bridge, the mysterious man starts to punch Shikage with a huge hand while she is on the ground, and she activates her ability right before he hits her. She puts her hand up in front of his hand and moves the power from his hand to her body, which then moves into her other hand. She puts her other hand onto his other arm, which is holding her down, and suddenly, his arm is destroyed from her kickback ability, which then travels through his body and destroys his whole body. He quickly jumps back away from her and wonders what she did. Shikage knows that her spiritual power is weaker now and she has to escape somehow, but notices how much damage she did to the mysterious man. She cannot believe how she managed to do that much damage without getting hurt, and this was her first time she did it outside of training, and thinks that it was a success and laughs. The mysterious man notices that she is laughing and wonders if she is laughing at him and if he fell for her trap, that the damage that she had must be bad as well. He thinks that he should not just stand around now and moves towards her to attack her again, but his phone rings and he picks it up. Shikage notices that the damage she did to the mysterious man is already fully healed and is surprised at how fast it happened. The person on the phone tells the man to retreat, and before he can ask anything, someone's hand is thrown in front of him who is holding the phone that called him. Shikage and the mysterious man notices this, and they see that the hand has no skin, and Akira shows up behind the man, still in a demon form. Akira shows up behind the mysterious man, and Shikage wonders what happened to him. Akira is smiling and grabs the arm that he threw in front of the man. The phone that the hand was holding falls down on the ground and cracks, and then the whole hand turns into a skeleton. The mysterious man becomes angry when he sees this and asks what Akira did to her senpai, but Akira just smiles at him. He suddenly becomes super huge and full of muscles and starts to attack Akira, which hits him, but Akira just touches his stomach and turns it into skeletons. The mysterious man takes a lot of damage and falls down on the ground, and Shikage is surprised at how much damage Akira did and notices that he did not even get hurt at all even when the man hit Akira. Akira comes in front of the man and takes his arm off and the man shouts in pain, and Akira hits him in the face with his own arm. Chikage sees that Akira is just attacking him over and over, and she figures out that it is not the Akira that she knows. She thinks that it is not safe here and uses her ability to quickly get out of there, but suddenly, Akira looks at her and smiles. She tries to run away, but Akira quickly catches up to her and gets ready to attack her, and Chikage thinks that she is going to be eliminated, but she does not give up and thinks that she has to do her best to finish the mission. She knows that if she gets hit, she will be eliminated, and dodging the attack is impossible and cannot make the same mistake again. The only way she has a chance to win is using her kickback ability, and she gets ready to use it, but she does not have enough spiritual power and she has no more strength left. Right before Akira attacks her, someone shows up in the sky and falls on the ground. The person in the sky is Kojiro, who grabs Chikage and moves her away from Akira. He gives Chikage a jacket and she asks what he is doing here, and Kojiro says that he is sorry that he is late. He says that the cavalry is here now and winks at Akira, thinking he can beat the main character. Back at Kotojiro's base, he is reading some information on Akira's ability. It says that in the case that the seal is broken and it frees itself again, before it gets its full powers back, he has to eliminate it immediately, but Kotojiro says that he hates the word eliminate. He says that they sealed it once before and asks why they cannot do it again. The person says that he is against that because of how much more dangerous it is, and Kotojiro figures out that it is still possible. He says that he promises not to overdo it and asks the person to send him the proper sealing instructions because he wants Akira to be his partner. On the bridge, Akira starts to walk around and Chikage tells Kotojiro to be careful of his arms because even just a small touch can eliminate him. Kotojiro looks at the mysterious man and notices that his arm is missing and there is a hole on his stomach. Kotojiro says that Akira is an incredible evil and he does not know what it is and removes his shirt to show a gun. He thinks that Akira is something like a mosquito and that maybe he attacked Chikage because he does not like the sound of the headphones on her ears or something like that. Kotojiro gets into a pose to get ready to attack Akira, and Chikage notices that she does not know anything about the technique he is using. Kotojiro says a trivia about mosquitoes and starts using his ability. He says that mosquitoes are an animal that has eliminated the most people on Earth and shoots at Akira very fast. The attack is the first seal, Heaven, and hits him in the shoulder, and Akira starts to fall over a little. Kotojiro notices that it is working and that if he slows Akira down, he shouldn't be at an advantage, but this just makes Akira very angry and he quickly lands in front of Kotojiro. He starts to attack Kotojiro, and Kotojiro wonders how he can be so fast and wonders if he will lose to him. Akira starts to attack his face, but Kotojiro dodges it and moves Akira's hand out of the way and pushes him to the ground. He hits Akira with 2 seals, super fast, earth, and humanity, and then the 4th seal on Akira's head, soul. Akira just barely hits Kotojiro, though, and his fingers turn into bones. Kotojiro still gets the last seal, purification, on Akira, though, and completes the sealing, and Akira falls down on the ground. Kotojiro hits Akira in the head and says that the spirit has been defeated, and Akira's body becomes covered with the seal, and he falls down on the ground. Kotojiro says that he cannot go on with this annoying business anymore because of how he almost lost his life. Kotojiro checks on Akira's body and sees that the seal is working for now and sees that Chikage is fine as well. Chikage gets up and gets a shirt to cover herself with. Kotojiro looks at the body of Nu and the mysterious man and says that he will worry about those two later. Chikage wears the shirt and Kotojiro asks her if the shirt fits her fine and that he does not know what kind of clothes young people wear these days. Chikage says that it is fine and thanks him, and Kotojiro says that he is glad that the both of them are okay. Chikage asks what Kotojiro is doing here, and he says that in the morning, after meeting Akira and Chikage, he got a call from the organization's headquarters. They told him about Nu, who he was supposed to eliminate, but she was too strong for them. Since Akira just got there, it was not the best moment to battle Nu, and he figured that something could go wrong, so he quickly came to them. Kotojiro laughs, saying that he always seems to show up at the best moments, and tells Chikage that she can count on her manager's hand while he is still alive. Kotojiro says that he would understand if Chikage falls in love with him, but at this point in his life, it would be hard for him to like her back, and Chikage tells him that he is really close to losing his face, but still thanks him for saving them. Shiek takes Kotojiro's jacket and covers Akira with it and asks what will happen to him now. Kotojiro says that not much will happen since the seal was perfect and that the organization will carry out a standard checkup, and then after that, he can go back to work. This time, though, he convinced the higher-ups to seal Akira instead of eliminating him, but if the seal is broken again, he will be eliminated, which Akira says when he wakes up. Akira says that he is sure the higher-ups will love that and that they wanted to get rid of him for years. He says that he is sorry to bother them, and Kotojiro asks if he remembers what happened. Akira says that the last thing he remembers is being hit in the head with a weapon and takes a deep breath. He says that he is happy to be alive, and Chiak says that she thought Akira was not afraid to not be alive. Akira calls her crazy, saying that there is still a lot of old movies he wants to watch, like The Suicide Squad, which is about to come out, and that he is sure Verhoeven will make another movie. He says that his main goal in life is to survive, and they even have the best home right now. Akira becomes nervous, though, and tells Chikage that she might not want to live with him anymore because of what he is and what he did to her. Kotojiro thinks to himself that the signal for the demon to come out was not designed to be triggered by Akira not being alive anymore and wonders what happened. Chikage says that she cannot let him live anywhere else and says that if Akira becomes a threat later, it is an Onmyuji's job to stop that threat before it reaches other people. While Akira and Chikage are talking, Kotojiro notices something on the ground and picks up a small object. Chikage says that she doubts that the manager's seal could be broken that easily and asks Kotojiro, and he says that she is right. He says that did not mention it before, but he specializes in seals, and suddenly, their surroundings become wavy and go back to normal. Akira and Chikage are surprised and wonder what happened, and Kotojiro tells them that it is fine because this was done by his friend. He asked his friend to break the barrier, and she works pretty fast so their surroundings become normal. He says that she is right around the corner and asks if they want to meet her, but gives Akira something before they do. He gives Akira the same ugly shirt he gave to Chikage, and Akira asks if people do not feel ashamed to wear this in Japan, and Chikage says that she wants to change out of it as soon as possible. While they follow Kotojiro to a building, Chikage asks Akira if this has happened to him before, and he says that it did. It happened 10 years ago when he was in Africa, and since then, he became obsessed. He had to keep eliminating demons or else he would not live anymore, just like in Statham and Crank 2. He tries to explain it, but Kotojiro tells them that they arrived and they enter the building. A person in the building is talking to someone else and says that for professional hitmen, they did not try to cover their tracks and that they have a lot of clues. Kotojiro says that he is back, and the woman says that they are finally back. She notices that Chikage and Akira are wearing the same clothes and asks if they are already dating, and they both shout that they are not. The woman says that she is happy to meet him, Black Shooter, and says that her name is Tsukigami Suzu. She says that she is in a manager position in the Onmyuji organization, just like Kotojiro. She introduces the other person who is her employee, and his name is Jin Kazumaki. Tsukigami goes to a table and gets something from her bag, saying it is to celebrate their meeting, and brings out some Monjiro Eka, which is a squid snack. She says that her store, Musicas, is a candy shop and tells him to visit it sometimes, and Akira gets excited, saying that he will. The building they are in is the same one that New and the mysterious man was using to test something on the people, and they say that it is a spatial curvature device. They took out all of the bodies, and Akira says that this is very bad because they have been using humans to boost the production of demons. Kotojiro asks Tsukigami if she found anything on their clients, and she asks Jin to bring something out. Jin brings out a bag with ashes which was found from inside the room, and Jin says that the clients were easy to find. He recreated some of the leftover memories from the ash, and he shows a picture of the folder, which is a contract with the target named Black Shooter, which is Akira. Akira says that he does not like the headline, and Kotojiro asks what was inside the folder and if they know who signed it, and Jin says that he still needs more time to figure that out. Akira thinks that business like this is the kind of stuff that he would like to remove as fast as possible, and Tsukigami wishes she could stay longer, but she was doing a different mission, so they leave. Kotojiro says sorry to her for calling her on such short notice, and Tsukigami says that it is fine because she wanted to meet Akira. She takes something out of her bag and gives it to Akira, saying that since they will be investigating the Black Pillar, she wants them to do something for her. The item she took out was a picture of two of her employees who have disappeared and asks them to let her know if they find any clues. Akira accepts and says that he has something to ask for as well, and says that Jin is pretty good at data collection. He says that he is looking for something well and gives Tsukigami a picture of his master, which she kind of seems to know. She says that they will try to help him, but not to expect too much, and Akira agrees. Tsukigami and Jin leave the building, and Kotojiro says that he has to leave too and that they will talk about Akira's inner problems later. Akira apologizes to Kotojiro for creating a lot of trouble, and he tells him not to worry about it and not to turn into that again for today. Kotojiro leaves, and Chikage tells Akira that they need to get back to the investigation, and Akira says that he has two suggestions. The first one is that they need to get changed out of their ugly clothes right now, and they check the closet for anything better. When they wear the clothes, Akira says that he does not like taking someone else's clothes, and Chikage says that they will pay them back later. Chikage asks what his other suggestion was, and Akira says that he was close to eliminating Kotojiro. He says that if he told Chikage about who he was from the start, she could have been better prepared and could have done something, but since no one asked him in the first place, he did not tell anyone. Chikage says that she knows a lot of people who are not alive anymore because their abilities were found out by their enemies, so it is common sense to hide their powers. Akira says that that is right, but from now on, the things he will share with her, she cannot tell anyone else and keep it a secret. They both sit down to talk, and Akira says that his second suggestion, after they have talked, he wants her to be his partner one more time if she does not mind. Chikage thinks a little and says that she will listen to his story. 10 years ago, in Johannesburg, Africa, back when Akira was part of the German Special Forces, he was on the battlefield and talking to someone. The person tells them to leave and that the money they gave is not enough at all. The soldier says that they will pay him the other half once they arrive at their destination, which should not be a problem, and tells them to show the soldiers the way. The man in the wheelchair says that he does not like it and says that this is the problem with the whites and that he does not trust people like him. The soldier is the squad leader and named Richter. The man in the wheelchair calls over his security, Mandara, who is a huge, strong guy, and gets ready to attack Richter. Richter asks what this is all about, and the man tells him to listen first, and that the ruins are within the refuge and only true warriors can go there. He tells Richter to have his soldiers fight Mandara, and if anyone survives, he will take them there. Richter agrees, and one of the soldiers, Terence, says that he will take care of it, but another soldier, Vanessa, tells him to wait because ladies go first. Richter says no and tells the new soldier to go instead, whose name is Dominic and currently named Akira. Dominic gets ready to fight Mandara and ties his hands up with something. Vanessa tells Richter that if the new guy does not survive, she wants to go next. The man in the wheelchair tells Dominic to look at the hill and says that there is where they throw their trash after a duel and calls it the Loser's Hill. He says that Mandara is good at his job, and Mandara says that he will take his head and throw it out. Richter asks if Dominic can win, and Dominic says that he was ordered to win, so he will win. Terence asks Richter if he is sure about this, and the man in the wheelchair says that the duel will begin. He starts the duel, and before Mandara can do anything, Dominic eliminates him instantly in one shot, and everyone on the gang's side is shocked at what happened. Dominic says that he finished his mission, and the gang's boss says something in his language, and the gang pull up their weapons. Vanessa says that they cannot break their promise, and the boss says he does not care. He orders the gang to attack, but suddenly, his whole gang is eliminated because the soldiers' side attacked first, with Daniela and Alfred attacking while hiding. Richter says that he does not want to waste time or anyone else's lives, and the gang's boss takes them to the place. Terence tries to attack Dominic to assert dominance, but Dominic easily fights back. They enter a room and go down a hole, and Daniela asks Richter the reason they are going into the ruins. Richter says that they have information about some relics in the ruins and they need to get it. They enter the ruins and notice a huge room with pillars, and they did not imagine it would be that big. Suddenly, one of the gang members locks them in the ruins. Richter turns on his lights and asks if everyone is all right. Everyone responds back, but Daniela does not, and he puts his light on her and notices that she is not alive anymore because a monster attacked her.